And speaking of music, I want to invite everyone to join me every Saturday and Sunday afternoon for the weekend Top 20 Countdown, right here on 90.9 The Vine.
Real Life Radio, 90.9 The Vine.
90.9 The Vine, in conjunction with AreaSports.net, proudly presents The Sports Couch. The Sports Couch is 60 minutes of great local sports talk each and every Saturday morning as we visit with area coaches, athletes, and other media personnel to cover the area sports that's most important to you. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. Hey, good morning again, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch. It is playoff weekend in high school football. A few playoff games played last night and many, many more today, including the Fairfield Mules in action, the Edwards County Lions in action, Sessa-Valier in action, Salem's in action. A lot more area teams that we'll get to. I'm Randy Olson in studio along with Danny Anselment. And, boy, Danny, this is a really fun time of year. It's nice and cool. We got football weather today, and some area teams are really hoping to do something special today in round one of the playoffs.
Yeah, like to see some of these teams move on to the next round, Randy. It seems like the local gurus have had a pretty tough time advancing to that second round, so hopefully today we'll get some on that second round.
On the show with us today, we are going to be speaking with Coach Justin Townsend as the Mules have a home football game today in Class 3A football playoffs. Fairfield will be hosting the Newton Eagles. Newton comes in at 6-3. The Mules are 9-0. We'll talk to Coach Justin Townsend about the game, a little preview here in just a little bit, and give you an idea of what he thinks about the Newton Eagles heading in today's game. We're also going to check in with Coach Joe Rivers of the Edwards County Lions. They're having to go on the road in their first-round game, Danny. That's a pretty long trip over to Madison over in the Metro East area, and they'll be taking on a Madison team that's 8-1 and probably is going to be pretty fast and pretty athletic.
I'm sure they will be.
If it's anything like they are in basketball.
That just seems to be the kind of play you get out of that Metro East area over there. Mm-hmm. But you know what? That's still a pretty good draw for Edwards County.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, not bad. I mean, they could have had a worse draw. I mean, if they can contain the speed, they've got a chance. So we'll talk to Coach Joe Rivers about that. I like his line. He's got size in that line, so maybe that line can help slow down Madison Trojans a little bit. And we're also going to speak with Coach Kevin Greene of the Salem Wildcats. They are in the Class 4A football playoffs today, taking on the Paris Tigers. This is the first time that Salem's been in the playoffs in something like 11 and 12 years, Danny, as Kevin has really turned the program around.
They've had a pretty good run up there all season long. That team's been really competitive all season, and they're going to take on a Paris team that is under the coaching of former Benton Ranger coach, Mr. Claude Felter.
Yeah, he's in his, second year, I think, up there? Maybe second or third year up there at Paris, and he's turned things around up there. They got into the playoffs last year and went 6-4, and he's got them back this year undefeated at 9-0. They were champs of the Little Illini Conference. And Kevin Greene, like I said, Salem Wildcats were 2-7 last year. They're 6-3 this year in the playoffs for the first time in 11 or 12 years. And so we'll talk to Coach Kevin Greene about his Salem Wildcats coming up. And then we're going to shift gears and talk a little volleyball this morning. We'll have Coach Chet Snyder of the Fairfield Lady Mules on the show with us as Fairfield defeated the Hamilton County Lady Foxes in quite a match the other night for the regional championship. It went a full 3 sets, played on a neutral floor at Flora, and we'll talk to Chet about that.
Yeah, I think that was some great volleyball action up there, and the Foxes was on a pretty good roll. They had beat a good Edwards County team 2 weeks in a row, and they took them to the limit the other night.
Sure did. I think the set number 3 was 25-21. So about as close as you can get, really.
Yeah.
So that was quite a match. And there's a lot of other things going on today, too. We've also got cross-country sectionals today, right?
Yeah, the Hamilton County Foxes, boys and girls, both were regional champs last week, and they're both running over at Benton today.
And junior high basketball has already started. In fact, the Fairfield Invitational was played last night, the championship, and the Fairfield Colts won that Fairfield Invitational last night, beating Flora in the championship game.
And I seen where Opdyke Valrive won the Summersville tournament.
Ah, okay. All right. And the Fairfield Colts, by the way, are coached by Ronnie Hyder, who used to be a great player, great athlete at Sisney. Remember Ronnie? Yeah,
No.
He was a good player. He was. Yep. All right. So a lot to get to here this morning on the Sports Couch. Danny, you got a few scores from some playoff games last night, and then let's run through those matchups today before we get in here with Coach
Justin Townsend, all right?
All right. From 3A last night, Carlinville, they remain undefeated on the season, 47-8. That's a team you'd like to see play there because evidently they're just pretty
Loaded.
awesome.
They're loaded, yeah.
Rochester in 4A defeats Breeze Central 53-27. Taylorville 57, Illinois Valley Central 30. That's about all we have. But looking at matchups today, in 1A it's going to be Edwards County at Madison, Cumberland at Fisher, Central A&M at Red Hill. Carrollton's going to make the trek to Cesar-Valere, and Salt Fork is going to take on Arcola.
Yeah, those are all the 1A games in our area, yeah.
Chester's going to make the trip to Warrensburg. Athens is going to travel to El Dorado. Tri-Valley Downs will be at Nashville. That Nashville Hornets team's 8-1 on the season. Look for them to probably advance. Fifthia at Pana. Villa Grove at Tuscola. Staunton at Decatur St. Teresa.
Yeah, those are all the 2A games, and then we move on to 3A.
Newton will travel to Fairfield. DuQuoin is going to go to Williamsville. Paxton and Vandalia. That should be a good game between those two teams right there.
I think it will be, yeah.
Like we said, Carlinville beat Wood River last night. West Frankfort and AJ is going to have a rematch. West Frankfort won early in the season, gave Anna their only loss. And Greenville's at Farmington.
That's 3A games, and then we move on to the 4A games today.
Salem's going to be at Paris. Effingham's going to be at Breeze Mater Dei. Olney's going to travel to Kankakee McNamara.
Ooh, that's a long drive.
That's a haul. But the haul of the whole deal is Heron is going to Pontiac.
Yeah, that's quite a while.
Fayberry's at Murfreesboro. That'll be a madhouse at Murfreesboro today with playoff game and the president both being there.
Yeah, traffic's going to be a bit of a problem today in Murfreesboro.
Murfreesboro will probably be a good place to avoid.
The Fairbury people better have gotten there last night because they might have a hard time getting in there today with President Trump there, too.
Freeburg at Columbia. And Taylorville beat Illinois Valley Central.
And then we've got some area teams that are also in Class 5A playoffs, don't we, Danny?
Rich East is at Marion, Muscuda at Mattoon, Rich Central at Highland, Joliet Catholic at Metamora, Mount Zion at Cahokia, Champaign Central at Carbondale, and Jerseyville at Country Club Hills.
All right. And as we mentioned in Class 3A, Danny said that DuQuoin is playing at Williamsville. That's the part of the bracket that matches up to the Newton-Fairfield game. So whoever wins the Newton-Fairfield game will take on the winner.
That's who they play.
Of the DuQuoin-Williamsville game. Yeah, so that's a real important game, so people will kind of be keeping their eyes on that game. And those are two teams that have perennially been in the playoffs a lot, DuQuoin and Williamsville.
You know, DuQuoin was really rolling along, and they kind of come up empty at the end of the season, so it'll be interesting to see if they rebound.
Yeah, they won their first 6 games of the year and then finished losing 3, so that's not the way you want to go into the playoffs, losing 3 in a row. That's right. Hey, when we come back, we will have Coach Justin Townsend on the show with us. We'll preview today's game between the Mules and the Newton Eagles. That's coming up next on the Sports Couch. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Sometimes you need an attorney who can look out for your interest. Located just a short drive away in Mount Vernon, Olson and Reeves offer a free consultation to discuss your needs. Everything is discreet and confidential. At Olson and Reeves, they can provide you with consultation and assistance with traffic law and DUIs, estate planning, living wills, divorce, real estate contracts, personal injury and accidents, as well as medical malpractice. Call Olson and Reeves, attorneys at law in Mount Vernon at 316-7322.
Joe's Pizza in Mount Vernon is a faithful underwriting sponsor of 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine. Joe's Pizza offers Italian cuisine as well as delicious sandwiches, salads, and desserts. Joe's Pizza also features daily pasta and pizza specials and all-you-can-eat spaghetti on Thursdays. Joe's Pizza is located at 819 Jordan Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 242-2600, and their website is orderjoes.com.
You've heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support. Welcome back to the Sports Couch, here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming worldwide on both of our websites, live video streaming at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WBYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio, along with Danny Anselment. Today, the Fairfield Mules, of course, at the train yard in Class 3A football playoffs, coming in with their 9-0 record. They'll be taking on the Newton Eagles, who are 6-3. And we had a chance to catch up with Coach Justin Townsend a couple of days ago. We wanted to go ahead and record the interview ahead of time because we didn't want to have to bother Justin today and take him out of his routine early this morning because he's got a lot on his mind today, getting ready to host a home football playoff game. So we recorded this just a couple of days ago after one of the workouts. So here's that interview for you right now. It is playoff Saturday at the train yard as the Fairfield Mules host the Newton Eagles in the Class 3A football playoffs, and I'm with Coach Justin Townsend of the Mules. And, Coach, hey, you're kind of making a good habit of this playoff thing. That's kind of a good habit to have, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, especially when you can host them. Now our big focus has switched to now we're going to try to win some playoff games. That's our goal.
Last few years, you've seen opponents from the South Central Conference. A little bit different this year, having somebody from the Little Illini Conference, the Newton Eagles. And they've kind of made a habit of the playoffs, too. I know they're in the playoffs for the school record 5th year in a row.
Yeah. They're accustomed to being in the playoffs. They're accustomed to winning playoff games. Good football tradition up there. Great run of athletes they got going right now. And the thing I like about it, I think their conference is very similar to ours, the Little Illini and the Black Diamond. I think the top teams in the conference are very similar to each other, as well as the middle and the lower half. So I think it's a very good opponent. I think it's going to be a heck of a football game.
You mentioned that they're accustomed to winning some playoff football games. They sure have. I think at least 2 of the last 3 years, I think they won their first round games of the playoffs. So yeah, they've been there and they've done that.
Yeah, and that always helps. And for us, it's getting past that and kind of getting that how we're kind of expecting to compete for conference championships every year in the Black Diamond. We need to get to that mindset that we're expecting to win playoff games, and I think our kids are doing that. I think we've had a great week of preparation. Our kids are locked in, feel really good about our game plan. We're healthy, and I just think it's going to be a great environment on Saturday, and I think our kids are going to come ready to play.
I did a little research of the Newton Eagles myself, and I know you've been watching a lot of game film, but it seems like everything I see about them, it all keeps coming up to this Adam Buttery. I mean, he had 286 yards rushing and 3 TDs against the Marshall Lions, and then Dawson Phillips also with 2 TDs. So they certainly are a run-first team this year, but seem to be putting a lot of yards and a lot of points on the board.
The tailback, Buttery, is a heck of a running back. He's quick, he's explosive, he runs hard, but he can hit the long play as well. You mentioned the fullback. He's also an all-conference linebacker, I believe, last year, as well as they got a defensive end and a D-tackle. Frickle, I believe is his name, number 62, that are really good players on defense, as good as we've seen this year. So offensively, yeah, they're going to run the football. They're going to take their shots deep when they can because they do have some quick receivers. But they definitely have some kids that can play on the defensive side of the ball as well.
After you watch their game film, and I'm sure you've watched plenty of it the last few days, who would you compare the Newton Eagles to that maybe might have been on your schedule this year in their style of play?
I think defensively they're similar to Cesar. They're going to play an even front and probably a little bit more athletic maybe than Cesar, a little bigger, a little physical. I mean, Cesar had a nice defensive line. Yeah. But these guys have some legitimate type defensive end type kids that are 6'3", 6'4", 200 pounds and can run. Offensively, they're going to run the I. Not so much option. I know Edwards County would run some option, things like that, but they are going to run downhill. They're going to try to counter you. They're going to try to trap you. and then they will get into some shotgun and try to spread you out a little bit, and as I said, take their shots downfield. So that's how I would probably compare them to offensively and defense. But one thing that they do have that you don't see a lot in our conference that's a concern is they have a kicker. They have a legitimate guy that can put it through the uprights, field goal wise, probably 30 yards and in, and can also put it to about the 10 or 5 on kickoff. So that's something that we have to account for that we typically don't in our conference. So.
How's practice been going this week, and what's been your message to your Mules players this week?
First of all, practice has been great. Weather's been great. Kids are coming in after school locked in and ready to go, and it's about having that mindset that there's life after week 10. There's a whole nother season that we can be playing, and that's kind of what we're buying into. That's what I said to them after we got our draw. I mean, you guys realize you could be doing this for another 4 or 5 weeks, and to think about it when you've never done that before, it's kind of mind-boggling, But there's a whole nother season we could play here, and we want our kids to experience that. I've been fortunate enough. I played on 2 teams that won their first round playoff game, and we lost in the second round. I coached the team back in 2009. We won our round 1, and anytime you can start playing and starting to get dark a little early, that's a good thing.
Good feeling.
It's a great feeling, and that's what we want to keep doing. And I want our kids to experience that. I want our town and community to experience that. I know we're going to have a great crowd, and it's just one of those things. Last year we had a really great team. We had a tremendous team, but we ran into a Vandalia team that just wasn't a great matchup for us, and it was one of those days that not a lot went right for us and a lot of things went right for them. And, by no means do I think that team was 35 points better than us, but on that day they were. And so I think our kids, we're just getting them in the right mindset and realizing, hey, this is a great opponent for us, a great matchup for us. They're a very good football team, but it's a team that we can compete with and beat. So, we just got to go out and execute.
How's the team's health coming in to today's game?
After the last 2 weeks, we had 2 pretty physical games with Effingham and El Dorado and Cesar. Normal bumps and bruises for week 10, but we're healthy as we're going to get, at this point in the season. But I think it helps us to play El Dorado. It helps us to play Cesar week 8, week 9. 2 teams that are going in the playoffs. Cesar started to figure out things after all their injuries. It helps you when your kids can play 4 quarters and be in a competitive game all the way through. I just think it helps your mindset and it helps you physically prepare yourself.
Coach, appreciate your time, and best of luck today, okay?
Okay, thank you.
That's Coach Justin Townsend on the Fairfield Mules. And, Danny, his comments before the game today, it looks like that, this team from the Little Illini Conference, the Newton Eagles, is maybe a better matchup for them this year than what they had last year with Vandalia. But they certainly have got a very talented tailback and Buttery and a strong fullback. And it sounds like they got some big guys on the defensive side, too.
Yeah, you don't get to this point and be a bad team, so it'll be a tough game up there today, but if you want to see some good high school football, that'd be a good game to attend.
The Train Yard, and again, that's a 1 o'clock kickoff this afternoon between the Mules and the Newton Eagles. And another team from the Little Illini Conference is also in the playoffs, too. That's the Paris Tigers. They'll be taking on the Salem Wildcats. And coming up next, we're going to be visiting with Coach Kevin Greene of the Salem Wildcats. They're back in the playoffs for the first time in like 11 or 12 years. We'll talk to Coach Greene coming up next. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
When it comes to custom cabinets and furniture, Barbary Woodworks in Fairfield is the name you need to know for American-made cabinets with American-made products. For the kitchen and bath, they also feature DuPont, Corian, Zodiac, and Granite. Barbary Woodworks also specializes in hardwood flooring, trim doors, and windows. In fact, they have a showroom where you can see it all at 307 Highland Avenue in Fairfield. Or go online and visit their website at barbaryswoodworks.com and visit them on Facebook as well.
The Vine thanks Cesario's in Wayne City for their support. Cesario's offers pizza, pasta, and sandwiches in a warm family environment. They are located at 1401 West Robinson in Wayne City. Their phone number is 895-1165, and they are open 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Cesarios each day will keep the sadness away, and we are thankful for their support.
Are you going out of town for a vacation or a weekend getaway? What are you going to do with your dog? That's easy. There's Jaggers Doggy Daycare in Mount Vernon. Jaggers Doggy Daycare is your one-stop shop for overnight dog boarding, doggy daycare, as well as dog grooming and obedience dog training. It's your dog's home away from home. They will thrive, and they'll get one-on-one attention by a great staff. More information is available on the web at jaggersdoggydaycare.com. Jaggers Doggy Daycare, 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon. Welcome back to the Sports Couch, here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now on AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. We're previewing a lot of the high school football games in the area today, and we want to shift gears now and talk a little bit about the Class 4A football playoffs, a couple local teams in action. And the Salem Wildcats return to the playoffs for a first time in a long time, and they'll be making a trip on the road today to take on the Paris Tigers. Salem comes in at 6-3. Paris is 9-0, and joining us on the phone right now is the head coach of the Salem Wildcats. It's Kevin Greene. Good morning, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing?
Great. Welcome to the Sports Couch, and congratulations on what's been a successful season thus far and turning the program around up there at Salem. You got to feel great about that.
We've been working hard. There's no doubt about it, and just happy for our kids, happy for our coaches and their families, and excited to see what the day brings today.
Boy, I bet you are. I know last year you were 2-7, and I think it's been 11 or 12 years since Salem's been in the playoffs.
Yeah, 12 years. 2006 was the last time, so it's been a while. We've had playoff fever around here, and I know a lot of people in our community and our school are happy to have it again. Oh,
I bet they are. I'm sure that they are. Well, you're facing an interesting team today, the Paris Tigers, and they're kind of on the same kind of trajectory that you are, too. They weren't in the playoffs for a long, long time there either, and Jeremy Clodfelder came in a few years ago and got them into the playoffs last year, and now they're back again this year. And so very similar situation. He's turned the program around up there. You've turned around the program at Salem, so it should be a great matchup today, huh?
We hope so. Yeah, I think it's interesting when you say that. I think there's a lot more similarities between the two programs than what a lot of people on the outside looking in, would recognize. And Coach Clodfelder has obviously gone there from Benton and done a great job. He's turned that thing around really quick. It's taken us a little bit longer here to get things going. But, I would agree 100%. I think you got two programs that are mirroring images of each other as far as, both struggled for a number of years in the Apollo to be consistently competitive, and both have made conference changes that I think have been positive, not just for the football program, but for all sports across their student body. And, again, I think it's a great opportunity for our kids. I know they feel the same way about it, and, we're just hoping for a great game up there today.
Well, Coach, I'm sure the community's got to be really excited, but not only the community, the kids at the school. I'm sure the whole school is rallied around behind this team and looking to have some major excitement up there today.
Yeah, I think, we've always felt like, and this is my 20th year as a head coach, and I've always felt like, the football team has a unique experience and opportunity to set the tone for the school year. And, we've been fortunate to have had a good year this year. Our student body has been behind us like we've never had before, and they're really excited about it. We saw a ton of kids wearing playoff gear this week and football, Wildcat gear, and, it's just, it's an exciting time. We try to remind our kids and remind ourselves as coaches to, just take a step back once in a while and really enjoy the fruits of our labor here. But, there's no question. We're excited about it, and our student body has really been a big part of that.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the game. I'm sure you've scouted this team quite a bit now. What's some of your concerns with this Paris team today?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'm not sure we have enough time on my segment here to talk about all the concerns. They're a very good football team. As we've said numerous times this week, you navigate a schedule 9-0. You put over 400 points on the board offensively, and you give up less than 100 on defense. You're doing a lot of things right in all three phases of the game. And, offensively they have a big, strong veteran quarterback who can sling the ball around. He really does a nice job running their offense. They have a multitude of skill players that concern us Their line kids probably do not get the credit they deserve for the ability they have to protect the passer as well as run the football, which is, I've always found in high school football, a unique ability to be able to do both well, and they do that pretty well. And defensively, you put up over 400 points. That's what everybody wants to see these days. They want to see the offense and the points, but their defense, I don't think, has gotten nearly enough credit for what they've been able to accomplish. Their defense is salty. Their front four is very sound. Their linebackers are extremely fast and tackle well, and their secondary is filled with those offensive skill kids who know how to play the ball. So it'll be a huge challenge for our guys, but, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to go there. I feel like we've had a good week of practice. We're prepared, and we're going to run the football, and we're going to play great defense and play the game one quarter at a time and just see where we're at in the fourth quarter. And if we're in a position to win the game, I think, we like our chances.
Well, so in other words, Coach, you're wanting to kind of control the tempo of this game, and if you think you can control that tempo, you're going to definitely be in the hunt.
I think what you said is exactly right, the tempo of the game. I think, for us, we've really kind of approached this game very similar to our week one opponent in Centralia. We've got to try to, sometimes your best defense is your offense, and, we've got to be able to sustain drives. We've got to keep the ball out of their skill players' hands as best we can, limit our turnovers. We've got to win the time of possession battle. All those little things that you talk about all year, in regular season games are just amplified when you get into a do or die, no second chance type situation like we are today. So, I think we've gotten a lot better in a lot of those areas the last several weeks of the season. And, but you're right. I think the tempo of the game, how we control ball possession, things of that nature is going to be very, very important today.
Well, along the way in your 6-3 record this year, a lot of bright spots for your Salem Wildcat team. You had 2 shutouts this year, including that shutout of Centralia to start the season. But then you also limited Carlisle to 6 points and Massac County to 8 points. So obviously you've got a pretty stingy defense yourself, Coach.
We feel good about it. Yeah, our defensive coordinator, Coach Cable, and one of our other defensive assistants, Coach Vincent, have put a lot of time in this offseason with our defensive game plan and schemes. And, our kids have really bought into it. And, we feel really good about the one thing I think that we've consistently felt good about all year, no matter who we were playing, was our team speed. We feel pretty good about our team speed, especially on that, that defensive side of the ball. And when you can run a little bit, and, we're not going to be as fast as every team that we play, but we match up pretty well in that area. And I think when you can do that, most times you're going to be able to play some defense. And, again, it's been a situation where our kids have really bought into the scheme, and, we just do our best to make the game as physical as possible, and that won't change today, that's for sure.
Well, and the 3 losses that you have this year were all 3 to playoff teams, and so you lost to some quality teams this year.
We did. I was talking to somebody earlier today and, about the Cahokia Conference. And our conference, I don't think gets a fair rap all the time just because of some of the school sizes and that. But, every week you got to be ready to play. And you're right, 3 teams that beat us, we felt really good about how we competed against those teams. We were in those games well into the second half. And, again, you got, Bree Central and Coach Short, Coach Horner over at Columbia, and Coach Stewart at Freeburg. Those guys do a great job with their programs. And, we felt good about how our kids competed, felt like we had plays to make there that could have changed the outcome of those games. And, we feel like we're pretty battle-tested here heading into this game. There's no question.
Well, I liked your comment early on, Coach. You thought moving to this new conference was a good move, not only for the football team, but for all the teams. And I'm sure Andy Fernbacher, we speak with him regular, and he feels the same way. And when it happened, we just felt it was an awful good move on Salem's part.
I think it was. The conference that we were in, the Apollo, was just heading a different direction geographically than what we wanted to go. And on top of that, we don't hide from anything here. Our kids were struggling to be competitive in the Apollo, and that's why we made that move. And I think a lot of teams have done that. I don't know that Paris is any different than us. I don't see Taylorville or Mattoon being any different than us as well. And, we talk about getting things going and that kind of thing. I've told people numerous times this season that, I really feel like Coach Fernbacher and his crew, they made a great run at the end of the season last year, lost in a really close game in the regional championship to Centralia. And our student body really started to change, I felt like, even back at the end of our basketball season last year. And it really carried over into the spring, and it just kind of carried over into the football season here. And But yeah, I mean, our guys being able to be competitive in those major sports, I think, has really helped get our student body going in the right direction here.
You know, I think you're right, Coach, because your fan base at that regional tournament game against Centralia, because it's played on neutral floor at Mount Vernon, and I was there. Yeah, you had tremendous following by both your adults and your student body, and Salem was in that game for sure.
Yeah, you know what, and I will tell anybody, Coach Fernbach and I are good friends. He does a great job with the basketball program, and you know, he when he came here, he was in a similar situation, just trying to get some foundation and build some things. And you know, I don't think there's any question that he's done that. And you know, again, I will tell anybody, you know, I felt like things really started to change late last winter when our basketball guys started to get on a roll, and our student body started to realize how much fun it is when you got a team that you can cheer for. And you know, we're just glad that we've been able to keep it going this fall, and we'll see what happens today, right?
Well, you know, Coach, you always hear coaches talk about changing the culture, and that's exactly what's happened there at Salem. But it's been a strong effort by all the coaches up there, but it sounds like you have changed that culture and changed that mindset, and everybody loves a winner.
Well, and yeah, I think we have for right now. You know, we'll see how it goes in the future here, but I think our kids have set a foundation of expectation, and I think Coach Fernbacher would agree with me. You know, I think we've got a lot of kids in our school right now in our junior and senior classes that are not only competing hard on the courts or on the football field, they're being a positive influence in our classrooms as well. And we've struggled with that here at times. And that you know, when you have good guys walking the hallways, it makes it easier for your student body and your teachers to support you. Whether you're talking about football, basketball, baseball, it doesn't matter. And you know, again, I feel like that kind of stuff has been just as important, if not more so, than what we've been able to do at the end of the basketball season or in the football season this year. We're really proud of our kids, and especially our seniors, for that. And hopefully our freshmen, sophomores are seeing that and seeing how important that is, and it'll carry over into seasons to come, like you said, to continue that culture that we've kind of hoped to develop here.
Hey, one more quick question before we let you go, Kevin. Talk a little bit about the routine today, because since you're playing on a Saturday instead of a Friday night, it changes up the routine a little bit today, doesn't it? And walk us through that today, what you're doing.
Yeah, it does. We actually wanted to play Saturday, just have that extra day of rest and preparation. But, no, we've got the kids here right now. They're eating a breakfast. Our parents came in and made them a real light breakfast this morning, and then got a little sack lunch for them on the way. We're going to take off here in about 20 minutes or so. And so, yeah, it'll be a little different for our kids playing during the day. But, you know, as far as a routine goes, you know, we tried to keep the practice schedule pretty consistent. We just bumped everything back a day and gave them an extra day at the beginning of the week to just kind of rest up, get their legs back under them. You know, that kind of stuff's so important this time of year. So, you know, we welcomed that Saturday opportunity to have that extra day. And, you know, honestly, our kids haven't really talked much about it, the change of the day and the time, which I'm glad. You know, I'm glad they haven't. You know, they're not worried about that kind of stuff. They just want to go play and see what happens. So.
Yeah, well, there's about 250 schools that would trade places with you today, that's for sure. So congratulations again, and best of luck on your trip today and the game today against the Paris Tigers, okay?
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate you guys having me on.
All right, Kevin, take care. Appreciate it.
Good luck, Coach.
Bye-bye. That's Kevin Greene. He's the head football coach of the Salem Wildcats, and turned that program around. And, yeah, I'll tell you what, with guys like Kevin and guys like Andy Fehrenbacher, they got good coaches up there at Salem, and the culture is changing.
Oh, yeah, you can see it happening in all sports with Salem. They had great success in baseball also up there.
Yeah, you're right, yeah.
And, you know, you just have to change that mindset. It becomes real easy to go get beat by 20 and come home. And
they're very competitive in track and cross country, too.
You know, so when programs get to a certain state, you got to get somebody in there that can change this thought process and make believers out of these kids. And you see it happen all throughout sports, out throughout Southern Illinois where we cover. You see these programs kind of go in peaks and valleys, and Salem's headed back toward the peak.
Yeah, 12 years since they've been in the playoffs.
Yeah, you know, it just that snowball can get rolling, and it can get pretty big on you.
Yeah, so that's a big accomplishment this year, that's for sure. Hey, when we come back, we are going to catch up with Coach Joe Rivers of the Edwards County Lions. They're on just about on their way over to Madison, take on the Trojans today in the Class 1A football playoffs. We'll visit with Joe coming up next.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music. 90.9 The Vine.
Sometimes you need an attorney who can look out for your interest. Located just a short drive away in Mount Vernon, Olson and Reeves offer a free consultation to discuss your needs. Everything is discreet and confidential. At Olson and Reeves, they can provide you with consultation and assistance with traffic law and DUIs, estate planning, living wills, divorce, real estate contracts, personal injury and accidents, as well as medical malpractice. Call Olson and Reeves, attorneys at law in Mount Vernon at 316-7322.
Crawford Plumbing LLC in Woodlawn is licensed, bonded, insured, and ready to serve your household and business plumbing needs. From leaky faucets to complete plumbing systems and repair, Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a full-service plumbing company. They can be reached at 618-242-3360. Crawford Plumbing in Woodlawn is a proud underwriting sponsor of Real Life Radio.
Choosing a construction company is a big decision because many companies come and go. That's why Greenwald & Sons Construction is a name you can trust. With over 40 years of experience, Greenwald & Sons Construction in Wayne City and Mount Vernon specialize in residential and commercial construction, as well as remodeling. They'll be happy to talk to you about a church addition, business expansion, or new home construction. Greenwald & Sons Construction, the experts you can depend upon. Their number is 895-2044. Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on both of our websites. Live video streaming right now at AreaSports.net and live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. It's playoff football weekend, and a lot of playoff football games taking place today, including a big battle in the Class 1A playoffs over at Madison. Madison Trojans will be hosting the Edwards County Lions, and on the phone with us right now is the head coach of the Lions, and that's Joe Rivers. Good morning, Joe. How are you?
Hey, good morning.
Are you guys just wrapping up breakfast this morning with the team?
Yeah, we're still finishing up right now, yeah.
All right. Well, that's kind of neat because you do change the routine a little bit when you play on Saturday compared to Friday night, and I think that's great that you can start the day off with breakfast with your team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a long ride, and it'll probably be 5 o'clock before we get a chance to eat again, so we're getting them filled up with all kinds of goodies and sending us on the road.
So when the drawing came out, the pairings came out with the IHSA, were you surprised at all that you drew Madison? We knew that was maybe one of the possible teams, but were you surprised, and how'd you feel about that initially?
Well, I felt like at 6-3, that's who we were going to get. So, no surprise really. That's kind of who I kind of pegged as that'd be the best matchup for us. So we got kind of what we wanted. We'll go play the game, see what happens.
Well, I've never seen Madison play football before, but I have seen them play basketball a lot, and I do know they're always fast, they're always athletic, and I'm sure speed's going to be one of their major things today. I'm sure that's probably something that concerns you, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We got to keep them contained. They've got some kids that are pretty quick, but we've got some kids that are pretty quick also. So I think we can match up with them for the most part, as long as we can keep them contained.
Well, the thing that I like about your team is the size of that line too. I mean, you've got some studs there on your line, and they're going to have to try to run through you, and that might be hard because you're pretty physical yourself.
No, yeah, absolutely, and we're that's part of the game plan is to just throw body blow after body blow. I tell the kids all week to be like Rocky, just keep throwing body blows and wear the other team down, and that's what we're going to do.
Their record is 8-1, but honestly, if you look at their schedule, I mean, I don't want to say that they've played cupcakes. I don't mean that at all. They've played some pretty good teams, but they've also had some teams on their schedule that maybe weren't up to par. So sometimes I think that 8-1 record could be a little bit misleading, and I don't think you can be intimidated by that. That's what I'm trying to say.
No, yeah, absolutely not. Like you said, I don't think they played cupcakes by any means, but their opponents' wins are not as high as our opponents' wins. One of their games at the beginning of the season was a forfeit, so they're 8-1's a little misleading. They're actually 7-1. So we're not really stressed out about the records or anything.
Well, talk a little bit, Coach, about the excitement and things leading up to this. I'm sure the community over there is really excited and probably going to have a big crowd over there with you today, aren't you?
Oh yeah, we've got a fan bus going. We've got lots of people. A couple of the folks in town have rented buses, and they're bringing people over. It's gonna be a decent crowd for sure, and they'll be loud and cheering us on, and it'll be good.
I'm sure the school's pretty excited. The kids are all excited, aren't they?
In my 17 years here, it's probably the best pep assembly we've had.
Wow, that's great.
The kids were into it. Yeah, it was nice.
That is awesome. How's
probably been the hardest thing about coaching this week is trying to manage all the other chaos outside of football that's going on.
Well, no, I bet that's right. I bet that's right. Well, tell us about this week of practice leading up to the game. How's this week of practice been?
It's been one of the better weeks we've had all year. So, the kids have really responded well and worked hard at it. So, it's been a good week.
And I'm sure your eyes are bugging out after watching so much game film this week, too, probably, huh?
Yeah, we've watched all of it several times over, all of us coaches, texting each other at 2 in the morning and, check out play number 32 on this film. And so we've been watching a lot. We're on brain overload sometimes, I think.
Well, it's been a long time since Edwards County's been in the playoffs, and we had the Salem coach, Kevin Greene, on just right before you. It's been 12 years since Salem's been in the playoffs. So, again, a little bit of uncharted water here for both programs, but I know it's something that you're excited about. And I get the feeling that your players really have some confidence going into this game and maybe a little bit of a swagger, and that's good.
Yeah, absolutely. That's kind of what we want. They're definitely confident. We've had a little bit of a roll here, and I keep telling them, if you get a third one, it counts as a real roll, and then we'll roll on to the next round and see what happens.
Watching the game film of Madison, are they a team that mainly runs the ball, or do they also put it up in the air as well, Coach?
Well, it's hard to say. We've seen a couple 3 films, and 2 of the 3 they threw the ball over 50 times, and then the other one, the other film they ran it a good bit more, but still threw a lot also. So I think they threw it 33 times. In the other one, and probably had 30-some running plays as well. So, But those 2 games they chucked it 50 times. That was pretty impressive because they just kept launching it up. They got a freshman quarterback that's about 6'1", around 190, and he's got a good 55-yard arm, and he's fairly accurate with it. So we got to be real careful about letting them get behind us for sure.
Yeah, and also going to need to put a lot of pressure on him too, aren't you?
Yeah, well, we can do that up front. We've got the kids up front that will put pressure on him, so I'm not too stressed about that.
Yeah, that's great. Do they have any kind of a kicking game at all?
They kicking off, they're not very good. They do kick PATs, and they have made some of those, about probably 60% on those. And they punt okay.
Okay. I know last week you were a little bit banged up. How's your team coming into this game health-wise?
Well, they're all back and healthy. We got the flu bugs out of here, and I'm trying to work through getting the kids' strength back up. That's why I wanted to feed them a bunch of breakfast here. But we got a few of them that they've been back to practice here for about 3 days this week. So I think they're back up to about full speed, and we should be at full strength when we get there.
So when do you board the bus? When do you head off?
We're leaving at 10 o'clock. I'm getting ready to leave the church here in about 5 minutes and go start loading the stuff up.
Okay, all right. And then the fan buses will be not too far behind you?
Yeah, I think they're all following us.
That's awesome. Have a little caravan over to Madison today.
Yep, that's what we're doing. Everybody's meeting on the square up in town, and then the buses are going to go right by the square, and they're all going to follow us over.
All right, that sounds like going to be an exciting, fun day over there, and I want to wish your team best of luck over there today, Coach.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, appreciate your time. Take care. All right,
good
luck. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Joe Rivers, head coach of the Edwards County Lions. Now, that's a lot of fun. Big caravan going over to Madison. That is great that they're taking all these fan buses and student buses. It's exciting.
People in the community rented buses to take people.
Oh, that's
even.
awesome. And again, first time they've been in the playoffs in many years, and same kind of situation as what we saw with Salem, So, boy, love to see that in these small communities.
You just like to see them get a win over there.
Oh, man, wouldn't that be something? That surprises me what he said, though, about Madison putting the ball up in the air so many times. I just assumed that they were going to be just
lightning fast.
Just run the ball and stop us if you can. But
50 times in the air, that's a lot of times.
It sounds like this quarterback's got an arm, and so, it sounds like that the Lions are going to have to put some pressure on him. But, with that line up front that Edwards County has, they can push you back and they can get in his face. So it could be an interesting game over there today.
He felt pretty confident about it.
Yeah, he did. He did. They've watched a lot of film.
And I'm also sure that you can listen to that game on 104.9 today.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going to be an interesting matchup for sure between Edwards County and Madison. Again, we run through some of those games there in Class 1A. You've also got Cumberland at Fisher, Central A&M at Red Hill, Carrollton at Cesar-Valere, Salt Fork at Arcola. Cesar-Valere at home playing Carrollton. I'm glad that the Devils got a home game today.
Yeah, me too. And Cesar's kind of got regrouped after a couple injuries.
Kind of figured it out, haven't they?
And
played real good against the Mules.
Yep, they gave the Fairfield Mules all they wanted.
They really did.
You'll be able to hear that game today on WMIX.
Uh-huh.
They're going to carry that game today if you don't have an opportunity to go down there. But Cesar could get a win. I'll tell you, that Red Hill team.
Well, they're strong.
They've had a strong season.
They're strong.
There could be several local area teams advanced today.
Yeah. You know, I was surprised, and I think you were too, that El Dorado got a home game. They've got Athens.
You know, they were at 7-2.
Yeah, it could have went either way.
That's kind of an iffy deal. But when you look at the teams that shook out in that 2A, I'm just glad you didn't see an El Dorado going to Nashville or something like that.
Yeah, two local teams playing each other. Nashville has a home game against Tri-Valley Downs. I drove through Downs yesterday coming back from Bloomington. It's a little bitty town up there next to Bloomington, and, I mean, it's tiny. It's like Wayne City.
Yeah.
Really small, much smaller than Nashville. And so Tri-Valley's coming all the way down to Nashville. That's a heck of a drive from roughly Bloomington to Nashville.
Yeah, you know, there's some teams making some pretty good hauls today. You know, Chester's going to Warrensburg, Tri-Valley to Nashville. But
what kind of
the Poor Heron Tigers?
Yeah, that's a haul.
Could you imagine making a bus trip to Pontiac?
That's a long way to go. I mean,
6 hours?
They've probably already left.
Yeah, I'd say 6 hours.
I'm sure they've already left.
6 hours.
Yeah, I would say they have probably already left. And then you've got some rematches today, too. In Class 3A, you got West Frankfort against Anna Jonesboro, a game that was won earlier in the year by West Frankfort.
You know, and I thought that was a bad draw for West Frankfort. West Frankfort's played pretty good. They've put the only loss on AJ for the season. But to draw that team right out of the bat, I didn't think that was a very good draw.
That's tough. And then Freeburg and Columbia got to play each other again, too. And it's at Columbia. And, boy, they had a nail-biter a few weeks ago. So here they are playing again.
Well, those two teams
in the same conference too, aren't they?
Yeah, I think
4A.
The Salem coach said they finished 1-2.
Yeah, and Salem lost to both of them, and they're both playoff teams. But it's a shame that one of them's going to lose here today.
You know they don't. One thing about it, they don't have a very far bus ride.
No, that's pretty close. That is pretty close. And then back to 3A again. You know, how good is Carlinville? They beat Wood River last night 47-8 in the playoff game. I mean, Carlinville now 10-0, and they're the favorite in 3A.
Yeah, they have to be the favorite in 3A, I would think. There's just nobody challenged that team. Some pretty good playoff teams they've just whacked.
They have. Hey, when we come back, we'll shift gears and talk a little volleyball with Coach Chet Snyder of the Fairfield Lady Mules. They won the regional. They're moving on to sectional play this Monday night against T-Town. We'll visit with him coming up next. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
The Vine thanks the Little Red Barn in Wayne City for their generous partnership. The Little Red Barn offers a full menu every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner with all-you-can-eat fish on Fridays. They also feature homemade pies and desserts. And coming soon, pizza and subs. The Little Red Barn is open every day and is located at 802 West Robinson in Wayne City. Their phone number is 895-2288. Find them on Facebook, and their website is littleredbarn.com.
Wouldn't it be great if we all had a friend or neighbor you really trusted, or to help assist you in managing your money? A helping hand to look out for your best interest? Well, you do. That's exactly who Community First Bank is. Chances are you've seen us at the ball fields, in church, or right next door. Friendly, local Jefferson County residents. From the smiling, helpful tellers all the way to our executive board. We're proud to call Jefferson County home. We're always here to help. Community First Bank, Local matters. Member FDIC.
Accidents happen. It's part of life. But when an accident occurs with your car or truck, you can count on the professionals at Sesser Auto Body in Sesser. Whether you have a collision with a deer, a building, a parking post, or another vehicle, Sesser Auto Body in Sesser can restore your car or truck to look like nothing ever happened. That's why many people in Southern Illinois refer to Sesser Auto Body as the Collision Pros. We appreciate the underwriting support of Sesser Auto Body in Sesser. Welcome back to the Sports Couch. Here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and streaming live worldwide on both our websites. Live video streaming at AreaSports.net, live audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio along with Danny Anselment. We've been talking playoff football here for most of the morning, but we're going to shift gears a little bit right now and talk about volleyball, because a lot of volleyball regional championships were played the other night, and a big battle between Fairfield and Hamilton County was won by the Lady Mules in 3 sets. They played it on a neutral floor up at Flora. Fairfield comes away with a victory, and they advance on now to the sectional. And joining us is the head coach of the Fairfield Mules. That's Chet Snyder. Good morning, Chet. How are you?
Good morning, Randy. I'm good. Thank you.
I can tell just from the sound of your voice that you're smiling big after that win the other night. Congratulations.
Well, thank you. It was a big, hard-fought win. We're really happy with it.
Oh, yeah. How many times did the Lady Mules and the Lady Foxes play each other this year?
3. We had everybody in the Black Diamond played each other twice.
Right.
So then we met in the regional, so 3 times.
Yeah, I thought maybe you might even have played a 4th time in a tournament or something. That's why I asked. I wasn't sure. But always a hard-fought battle between those two schools, those two teams. And that was exactly what happened the other night in the regional, too. I think, did they not win the first game, I think, and then it went 3 games, right?
Yeah, we won the first game.
Okay.
25-13. Then they won 25-12 in game 2.
Uh-huh.
So it's kind of lopsided.
Right. Both of them.
We just had an epic battle in game 3.
Yeah, 25-21, yeah. Uh-huh.
Really brought it, so.
That's unreal. That improves your record to 29-8. You're regional champs, and you move on now to sectional play next week. You travel and take on T-Town in the sectional. Yeah. And have you faced them this year?
We've not faced them this season. We played them this summer, and we played them. We host those tournaments in the summer, and we played them in the championship of one of those matches. And it's always been in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, I just think we'll run into T-Town in postseason. And sure enough, it's going to happen. And we go up to Cumberland Monday night.
Mm-hmm.
We play the second game. The first game's Edwards County and Pana, which that'll be good. We get a cheer on, our Black Diamond Conference, team there too. So looking forward to playing T-Town. They're really good.
Yeah, well, and they always grow them tall up there, don't they?
They are, they're ginormous. They're the biggest team we will face all year. And it presents a matchup, we'll match up probably.
Yeah, I don't know what they're feeding them up there. I don't know if it's some kind of special grits or something, but those girls always grow tall up there. They sure do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's back up again and talk about your match against Hamilton County the other night, Game 3. You mentioned the fact the first 2 games were lopsided. You won the first game lopsided. They won the second game lopsided. After that, what is your mindset? What are you telling the girls heading into that third and final game of the set? I mean, it's you have to really kind of reset things, so to speak, and get that confidence back, don't you?
Yeah. We just volleyball's such a game of momentum.
Sure.
We had all the momentum the first game. They had all the momentum in the second game, and then when you came around to the third match, both teams just really laid it out there. And I told the girls before we went out there, I said, we're 8-1 when we go 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I like our chances, that these girls fight. They just did not want to lose, and they put a lot of preparation to win that regional, and it just paid off.
Yeah. Well, that's such an exciting feeling to win that regional and move on. And as we talked about with you a couple of weeks ago when we had you on, you've got a great core of sophomores on your team too. So the future looks great for volleyball at Fairfield as well.
Yes, excited about the next few years. This senior class has been good for us, and we lost Samantha Esty. She had her ACL surgery yesterday, and that was a big, we had a lot of, plans to, win a lot of games, break the school record, and when you lose a player like Samantha, that changes everything. And we've had one of those sophomores, Leah Bowers, step up, and man, she was fantastic the other night against Cora, and it takes everybody. That's been our theme all year, everybody in it. The sophomore class has really, really helped, us move along. We're going to be good the next few years.
Yeah, that's exciting. That's exciting. Well, other than the size, what is it that concerns you the most about T-Town heading into that sectional matchup?
They serve the ball extremely tough, so that can always, if you can't pass the ball, so you can't play. And so we've got to handle the ball off the serve. And then, they're not only good, obviously, they can hit it because they're big, but their block is tremendous. They're going to be the best blocking team we faced all year. So we're going to have to cover the floor really good on the block, and if they block us, we're going to have to pick it up and swing again. So just got to find a way to score. Got to find a way to get the ball on the floor.
Yeah. Well, since the match is on Monday, since the sectional match with them is on Monday, what do you do about practice? You have practice today and or tomorrow, or what do you do between now and then, Chet?
Well, it's a little weird because we're on that little fall break here, so we didn't have school yesterday. So we practiced yesterday morning, and then our school's having a play also this weekend, so the gym's not available, and we've got the playoff game today.
Sure.
So we gave them the day off, and then we're going to get back together tomorrow afternoon and watch some film, and the parents are going to cook a meal for us. We're going to eat about 4 o'clock, so just go over our scouting report and stuff. And I've got about 11 of the 14 girls are sick, so one of them, our libero, has strep, which is not good, so we got to get healthy this weekend, so hopefully rest is our best thing,
Yeah, well, for sure. Well, winning breeds winning, and the fact that the Fairfield Mules football team is in the playoffs today and it's a home game, I'm sure a lot of the girls will be at that. I know you'll be there, and just that excitement of being around a playoff game like that kind of rubs off on the girls too, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, we're just proud of the seasons we're having, at FCHS. The cross-country boys and girls are running at sectionals today as well. And the football team got the playoff game. And, we get to go Monday. It's just a good time to be a Mule.
Chet, when you have winning going on like that, each team kind of pushes the other team because they don't want to be the one that lets the school down, do they?
No, that's right. And there is, everybody wants – you want to represent really well, and so right now that's going on. I mean, I see it happening with basketball and baseball too, and softball. I think those seasons will be really good. We've just got a good group of kids right now, and they're just used to winning, and it's hard to turn that around when it's the other way. But right now, we've just got it going, so it's a fun thing to be a part of.
Well, and even down the street last night, the Fairfield Colts basketball team won the Fairfield Invitational last night. I think you were there, were you not?
Oh, yeah. We've got a couple foster kids living with us, and they played really well last night. We're super proud of them. But Coach Hyder and Coach Lackey have done a great job with these young boys, and it was a really, really, really hard-fought match. Imagine that. So
yeah, no rivalry there.
No rivalry there at all. Yeah, sometimes I thought the officials needed to call like a football game because it was tough.
Yeah. So is Coach Hyder the head coach, or is Coach Lackey the head coach?
Coach Hyder.
Okay.
From Sisney is the head coach.
Right. I remember Ronnie playing high school ball at Sisney. He was a heck of an athlete.
Yes, it's his second year, and he's done a fantastic job. And last year, actually, my son, Macklin, was his assistant, and he's at U of I now, helping. They have a scrimmage against Vanderbilt today, so he can't come home for the game. But and then Nathaniel Lackey, who, of course, started for FCHS. He's now the assistant and doing a great job with the kids.
Yeah, that's cool. Hey, I also saw on Facebook something's going on uptown this morning you're involved in. What's going on with the biscuits and gravy? Tell me about that.
Well, we got up early and made some homemade sausage and bacon gravy. It's delicious with some. We cut up 50 pounds of potatoes.
Oh, mercy.
Got to where they like these fried potatoes, so we've been up early doing that. So up at the square, my wife and my daughter, they're going to Myanmar this December, visiting about 4 or 5 different orphanages and helping out for a couple of weeks.
Cool.
This should obviously cost a lot of money to do something like that, so they're raising funds to go over there.
Great. Well, we encourage people to stop on by. You up there by the courthouse?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Danny's looking at me, giving me a hard time because I'm talking about food, right, Danny?
I'm really surprised, Chet, that Randy would have noticed something on Facebook involving food. That just kind of blows my mind because we go to a basketball game. And the first thing he knows is, hey, we go down here and we turn left and go down to the third door. They got a great hospitality room down here. He'll tell me.
Well, that's true.
There is nothing wrong with being a good food guy.
That's right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, I like my food too, and I saw your post too, and I'm thinking, man, I'd like to have some of them fried potatoes, but I hate to drive to Fairfield to get some.
Oh, those fried potatoes are delicious. People will just come to get them and not get the biscuits.
Well, I can believe that. Yeah, I can.
You know, Randy, you really thought he would have sent us a couple samples down here this morning.
It did look good. It definitely did look good. Hey, Chet, we want to again say congratulations on the regional championship and a great season so far at 29-8. Keep it rolling Monday night against T-Town. We'd love to see you get a win there. Okay.
We're going to try. Thanks a lot, Randy.
All right. Take care now. Have a good weekend. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Chet Snyder, head volleyball coach of the Fairfield Mules, and wow, what a season that they have had. But tall order ahead of them now, facing T-Town this coming Monday night, and you got Pana and Edwards County on the other side of that bracket. So that's a pretty strong sectional.
Yeah, you know, good volleyball teams right there.
I'm telling you, that's a really strong sectional.
I guess that game the other night up there, I talked to several folks that went and said, for some high school volleyball, that was about as good as you'll see.
That third set must have just really been something. 25-21 was the final. But, he mentioned that volleyball is a game of momentum, and it truly is. And Fairfield had the momentum, winning big in Game 1. Hamilton County had the momentum big, winning in Game 2, and they just went at it in Game 3.
Yeah, I think it was just a real knockdown, drag-out deal.
Yeah, and I'm sure there was some close plays, along the way. So,
one thing I did see yesterday, I want to shout out Kaylee Dotson down at Hamilton County.
Mm-hmm.
This young lady, Randy, over a 4-year volleyball career, had 854 kills.
Wow.
And the next closest was Dana Rubenacker. Since 2008, they've been keeping track of this.
Uh-huh.
And the next closest was Dana Rubenacker, and she went to play college volleyball at 596. So does that tell you what kind of a player she is around the net?
Yeah, that's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
that really is.
That is some big numbers, almost 300 kills more, 250.
That is, and we know how good a player Dana was. So to have 300 more kills than her is really something.
Congratulations to that young lady, and they're getting ready to pick up the basketball. I think they've got in a new tournament. We'll have to get with Clint Weinmiller,
it's
but I think
just about that time.
I think they're going to Marion to play in a tournament, maybe as early as November the 12th.
It's going to be pretty fast. It's happening pretty fast, that's for sure.
So,
how about that baseball game last night? World Series game number 3. Holy cow! 18 innings. They played a doubleheader last night.
Played a doubleheader and was only planning on playing one.
Uh-huh.
But I'm telling you, that's going to have major impacts for the rest of the playoff because they used pitchers and stuff they weren't counting on using last night.
Both teams used 9 pitchers last night.
And it's thrown this whole pitching deal kind of out of whack.
7.5-hour game last night, the longest in World Series history. And, no days off before these next 2 games. They play again tonight, play again tomorrow. So, I mean, they got a boom, come right back after playing those 18 innings. That's tough, like you say, on the pitching staff.
Yeah, it's tough on everybody to play a game that long for one thing, but pitchers had to pitch last night that they weren't planning on
No.
pitching. I'm guaranteeing you.
No, they were throwing starters out there.
Now today, they're probably sitting here scratching their head thinking, well, I'm sure both teams probably saved their starter for today.
Yeah.
But if those guys don't go deep in the game,
Yeah.
what are we going to do again today?
Well, as of early this morning, Boston still had not announced who their starter was going to be today. When I got up there early this morning, I looked, and the Red Sox still hadn't announced their starter. So I don't know who they're throwing tonight.
They probably don't know.
You know, and L.A. ran out of position players last night, so they used Kershaw as a pinch hitter last night, late in the game.
Oh,
they were out of players.
Well,
it's crazy, isn't it?
Ended at 3:30 this morning or something our time.
Something like that. Crazy. 7.5 hours. I wonder how many L.A. fans actually stayed for the whole thing. I would like to know that.
I don't know. I seen a guy on Facebook this morning. He's a local Hamilton County native. He lives out on the East Coast. And he's at 3:30, he said, is there anybody still up watching the game with me?
Oh, my goodness sakes. I can't imagine that. Yeah. I watched through the 11th inning. I think at the
I saw the
end of 11.
I saw the 11th, and I seen the 18th. I woke up at 3:30. And
wow.
I just woke up, and it was still playing.
Well, you realize they both scored in, what was it, the 12th?
Yeah.
Yeah, they each scored a run in the 12th, and they each scored that run on throwing errors.
Yeah.
So I think the players were getting so tired. Honestly, they're getting so tired, and the defense made a couple flubs on each side, and both teams scored a run in the 12th inning on throwing errors. Crazy stuff.
You just never know.
No, as Danny starts yawning now after thinking about that 18-hour or 18-inning, 7.5-hour game. But no, that was a must-win though for the Dodgers. They had to win. So now it's 2-1 in favor of Boston with Game 4 tonight in L.A.
Well, they had to ensure that there's going to be a Game 5 Sunday in L.A. And,
well, you don't come back from 3-0, so they had to win. They had to get that win. So that was real important for the Dodgers. It's a good series, though.
Good series.
Good series. But how do you feel this morning, though, if you were one of the players that went 0 for 8 last night? Because there was a couple of them that did. That game was so long, you went 0 for 8.
You're thinking, man, how in the world do I top this deal?
I'm in a slump now.
Yeah. There'll be players, and there'll be trivia history from here on. Name the 2 players that went 8-0 during the World Series.
Yeah, that's right. Be a lot of that going on, I think. Yeah. Hey, we're out of time. Anything else we need to add, Danny?
No.
All right.
think we're pretty good.
Been a good show. We appreciate our guests being on with us today. Kevin Greene from Salem, Joe Rivers from Albion, Chet Snyder from Fairfield, and, of course, Justin Townsend from Fairfield.
Good luck to all the teams today.
Some great playoff football games. We'll keep track of the scores for you. You'll be able to follow along with all the scoreboard on our sports website at AreaSports.net. Have yourself a great weekend, everybody. Stay safe out there. Look out for the deer. I can tell you that from personal experience.
Personal attack.
That's right. We'll see you next Saturday morning at 8:30 for the Sports Couch right here. So long, everybody.
All your favorite songs by all your favorite Christian artists.